In a rather shocking development, Anna Paulina Luna, House GOP, expressed their intention to arrest Merrick Garland under what's called inherent contempt, giving the sergeant at arms the authority, the power to arrest the individual at their own home. Inherent contempt, it's basically, here's how it goes, and I won't bear the lead. Merrick Garland has been subpoenaed. He will not reply. He will not answer that subpoena. That's contempt of Congress. He was referred to the DOJ for criminal contempt, and they refuse to prosecute, despite the fact that Bannon and Navarro have been prosecuted. Peter Navarro is in jail, and Bannon is on his way to prison July 1st. Merrick Garland has been held in contempt, and they will not arrest him. Now, Anna Paulina Luna says that they're going to hold him in what's called inherent contempt. Now, I don't know that a vote like that would succeed because it's already a thin majority as it is. But if Congress does not enforce its authority to investigate and members of Congress vote against this, Congress is done. Unfortunately, I think it already is, and I'm not sure it actually exists. But here's the story, the shocking development. The Post Millennial says, speaking to press on Wednesday morning, Rep. Anna Paulina Luna of Florida, along with other GOP reps, held Biden's Attorney General Merrick Garland in inherent contempt of Congress. We are here today because of the double standard that exists within the justice system. As you know, on February 27th, the Oversight Committee as well as House Judiciary had sent a subpoena to Attorney General Garland, of which we received no response. And after referring him for criminal contempt, within 48 hours or less, the DOJ refused to prosecute. It's simple. 1, the DOJ decided not to prosecute Biden. 2, Merrick Garland decided not to turn over the evidence to back the DOJ's decision. 3, Congress holds him in contempt. 4, DOJ refuses to prosecute Garland. 5, inherent contempt. Defy subpoenas, be held accountable. I'll play this. I'm not sure how long this clip is, about 2 minutes.
Good morning, everyone. We are here today because of the double standard that exists within the justice system. As you know, on February 27th, the Oversight Committee as well as House Judiciary had sent a subpoena to Attorney General Garland, of which we received no response. And after referring him for criminal contempt, within 48 hours or less, the Department of Justice refused to prosecute. Inherent contempt is clearly within our Article 1 authorities, and Congress does have the power to investigate all legislative powers. Investigations are part of our legislative process, and people that interfere with these processes should be held accountable. Inherent contempt was first used in 1795, and this was further upheld in a Supreme Court decision in 1927 in McGrain versus Doherty that stated that Congress does indeed have this authority. It's important to note that when an individual is called before courts across the country, they appear. Why should the Attorney General, who is supposed to be head of all law enforcement authorities, any different? Garland still has time to comply with this request. We are asking that he bring the tapes to the House and let us listen to them. But in the event that he does not, we will press forward with calling the privilege motion on inherent contempt to the floor on Friday morning. It is also important to note that if we as a Congress do not have the ability to enforce our investigative ability, that we are essentially going to be ignored and undercut and essentially handicapped by all other branches, which would make us not a co-equal branch of government. After me, I have Dan Crenshaw speaking that would like to address this issue, but I would appreciate that the press report on this accurately and that Congress, again, does have the authority to do this, that the Attorney General is not above the law, and ultimately we will be pressing forward with this. This is something that, again, would enable the Speaker of the House to order the Sergeant at Arms to take into custody the Attorney General if he fails to comply with our request.
This could be big, but I'm not going to hold my breath, right? We have this tweet from @Amuse breaking down inherent contempt, writing, inherent contempt is a powerful centuries-old enforcement mechanism used by the U.S. Congress to maintain its authority and ensure compliance with its mandates. Historically, this power allowed either chamber of Congress to hold individuals in contempt and enforce its orders directly without relying on external legal systems. The practice dates back to the early days of the Republic, rooted in English parliamentary tradition. One of the most notable features of inherent contempt is that it authorized the sergeant at arms to physically arrest and detain individuals who defy Congress. This approach was more common before the 20th century, serving as a direct method for Congress to compel witnesses to testify or produce documents. The practice underscored Congress's ability to function independently and uphold its legislative responsibilities without interference. However, the use of inherent contempt has waned over the years, particularly due to its dramatic nature and the development of more modern legislative procedures. Today, Congress typically uses statutory contempt and relies on the judicial system to enforce its subpoenas, reflecting a shift towards less confrontational and more legally structured approaches. Nevertheless, the historical use of inherent contempt remains a testament to the robust powers granted to the Congress to police its proceedings and ensure compliance with its authority. Will it actually happen? Yeah, I'm not going to hold my breath. It is painfully obvious to everybody paying attention. I think it was Thomas Massey who may have posted this, that 2 of 3 bills that are coming forward into the House are Democrat bills. And he said, who's running this? Speaker Johnson, who's supposed to be a Republican, is just running Democrat priorities. Unsurprising. What do we want to see right now? The subpoenas for Peter Navarro and Bannon should be nullified. And that should get Navarro out of prison, and Bannon should not have to go. Where's that? We're hearing that Johnson is going to file an amicus brief in support of Bannon, so just your Congress. Just vote and say no contempt. There is a machine running. It is a deep state machine. And the question is this. I imagine this scenario. The speaker goes to the sergeant at arms and says, we have voted inherent contempt. We are instructing you to go and arrest Merrick Garland. And what happens? The sergeant at arms says, okay, I guess. The Democrats then say, you don't actually have that authority. You can't do it. And he's like, but they voted for it. And they're like, what does that mean? They can vote for a ham sandwich. Doesn't mean they're going to get it. It's got to go through the branches of government, blah, blah, blah. I tell you what I think will happen. The sergeant at arms is going to say, I'm not going to do anything because I'm scared. All of them terrified. Why? There are evil people who do evil things. In the grassroots, we can see Antifa, evil people doing evil things. They firebomb buildings. They maim people. They've killed people. They're not afraid to do it. People on the right are afraid. They're afraid to do it. For one, many of them don't want to engage in violence. Many of them are afraid to engage in violence. The right says all the time, if the right were to do what Antifa did, they would get arrested in 2 seconds and blah, blah. That's not true. It's not true at all. It's the perception of this that keeps Republicans and conservatives from engaging in legal pushback. The reason why Republicans will not defy the deep state is because they fear something bad will happen to them. But nothing bad will. I mean, don't get me wrong, like they went after Trump, right? But that is because they have the power to go after single individuals here and there. Of course, they went after Bannon, they went after Navarro. My point is this. If every single Republican adhered to the standard doctrine, we will use our authority, we will not be silenced, we would not see Bannon go to prison. We would not see Peter Navarro in prison. The issue is that when you roll over and expose your belly, they will exploit that. And then you laying there says, they've got me. I can't fight back. If every Republican used their authority legally, there'd be no need for violence. The Democrats would be pushed back because they cannot win. The problem is people on the right bend the knee every step of the way because the Democrats keep pushing, because Antifa doesn't go to jail. And they say, what are we supposed to do? My expectation here is the sergeant at arms is going to refuse to enforce the law. They're going to undermine Congress because Congress has the wrong view. The Democrats will continue to get away with all of their illegal activities. And that's it. Culture informs. That's where we're currently at. Now, I'm excited for this. It's the right move, and I'm glad Anna Paulina Luna is pushing this. She's fantastic. We need to see more of this. We need more members of Congress to stand up like all of these men who are and refuse to back down. There's a very thin majority in Congress, very thin, and Speaker Johnson does not seem to be interested at all in advancing real accountability. But there are means and there are mechanisms by which the Republicans can stand up. And we need Republicans at the state level to begin this process. Merrick Garland, as this now relates to any state level issue, should be prosecuted at any state so sees fit. Look what they did to Trump. Merrick Garland is refusing to prosecute Joe Biden. Joe Biden had classified documents. Joe Biden is campaigning. Okay. Now you need only interpret the law, and the laws exist, and you can start filing criminal charges against any one of these individuals. I'm not saying just Merrick Garland. The question is, why won't they? Republicans at the state level can file criminal charges the same as New York did. What are we waiting for? I'll leave it there. Next segment's coming up at 8 p.m. over at youtube.com/TimcastIRL. Thanks for hanging out, and I'll see you all then.